No getting back. What does that mean? Don't make I listen. Y'all know I be fussing, and I'm not fussing at you, Shannon. Don't get that twisted. But in my no getting back, and in my mind that I am really, 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 really particular about wanting to see each and every one of you actually grow in your business. And so working in your business every day is imperative. You really don't get an opportunity to not work in your business. So let me just state that because time is moving so fast. Time is moving crazy fast, and not just time, but technology is moving fast. And so we're in a very interesting space right now. I feel like in society, I really want you all to start thinking like the Industrial Revolution. And I know it's hard to think that way because we weren't there for the Industrial Revolution. And so the idea of what did people go through during that time is kind of crazy. But I really want you to start thinking about you know, jobs not looking the way they look right now. And I've been doing so much research into what jobs are going to look like in the future. And I'll tell you, in the next couple of years, we're going to see a massive shift. I'm talking about a massive shift in the way jobs are created, and the way that we hire, even in the way that we get paid. I believe that we're not going to get paid by hour anymore. I believe we're about 3 years away, maybe five max, from getting paid on an hourly basis. I think we're going to be paid based on outcomes. And that's a very different thought process when you've been used to this format of work your entire life. But this format of work that we see is the result of the Industrial Revolution, right? It was the result of that. It was, how do we create more manufacturing employees? How do we create more people who can do the everyday daily tasks in an automated world, an industrial related world? So now we're about to do the same thing. And a lot of people, I'm going to tell you right now, are going to lose their jobs, at least on the onset, right? I think we're going to see a massive destruction. I don't say destruction, but I think we're going to see, I think we're going to go through a period of time where people are going to pretty much be trying to figure out what is going on, and how do they work. Companies are silently laying off, okay, and replacing people with some form of automation. Now, not all companies are doing that. There are many companies, on the other hand, that are they're not necessarily replacing people, but they're trying to figure out, how do we increase our productivity. And so if we take the things that, let's say employee number one is a great employee, but 60% of employee number one's job is things that they have to do in a repetitive nature. They're researching, they're just doing the same things over and over again. If we could take that 60%, this is their thought process, and give it to AI, then the 40% of work that they do, we can increase that 40% of work, the value portion of the work, we can increase that, and we can have more productivity, more output, right, of value, more output of value that we need, the things that are going to do the most, the most value. And therefore, instead of us getting rid of this person who has the 40% of value work, and not just increasing their workload, because I don't think the workload necessarily will be increased, as it will be them focusing more of their job on the things that are going to generate an outcome, right? Versus the repetitive tasks that they have to do, that are more the administrative stuff like that. That person now becomes the manager of the AI, because the 60% of the work that still needs to be done. And that manager still needs to manage the human employee. But the work, that 60% work has to be managed by the employee who knew how to do the work, who has the 40%, the other 40% value. So the shift that's going to take place, two, one, employees need to be able to learn how to engage with AI, manage AI, and treat AI as if it's their employee, their tool. So that's the first thing. That's really the first shift that's going to happen. I believe we're going to see more people being laid off who don't understand how to use, manage, direct AI. So as a staffing agency right now, because staffing is still a $1 billion industry, not a 1 billion, it's a $600 billion industry in the United States alone. Okay. So it's still here. It's alive. It's living. It's well. It's healthy. It's expected to grow over 5% over the next couple of years. You're still in the right place. Do not have any sidetracked thoughts about is staffing going to live? No, it's still here, at least for the next 5 years. Right? It's still here, but it's up to you to define how you're going to position your staffing agency, right? And the value that your agency is going to bring, because it's not going to look like the version of the academy that we have right now. That's why I'm going in to re-record the academy, because things are changing. The last 5 months, the change has been massive. So it's not going to look the way it looks today. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it's going to look 10 times better, maybe different, but you get to define that. And I think that's the most exciting thing right now about staffing. Is in the past, we've all kind of, we were beating to the drum of what the industry standard was for staffing. Whereas if today you can create your own drum. I love that. You can create your own drum, which means you can be flexible with how you price. You can be flexible with what you name your services and what your services are. And I know you've been hearing me talk about this. Some of you are in the class. I just had somebody sign up for, like, I thought I was closing out my my one-on-ones, but I'm flying out to someone for an accelerated version of helping them build their technology and their staffing agency out in the new, kind of in a new format early. I feel like my calendar is about to fill up from that perspective. I don't know if I'm going to be able to leave staffing in the way that I want. I think that it's just, again, I'm going to be evolving with the industry, but still doing my thing on the tech side, because my current staffing clients are literally like, Dee, I pay me to be on the top, pay me to be, up front, and which is exciting, and from in many perspectives. I need you to start thinking about what hiring looks like for you and your people, whether you're placing nurses, CNAs, if you're placing developers, which is going to be a very interesting topic for people who are placing developers. Development is changing. In the next 3 to 5 years, almost all code will be created by AI. And so developers, from the traditional sense, although I feel like we should continue to maintain understanding the technology, the code that we already know how to do, because for me personally, and I'm probably not supposed to say this, but in a world where everything is coded by AI and we don't understand it, is dangerous. So I do think we still need, still be able to code beyond AI. But developers today who are going to school to learn how to do traditional coding is just pretty much out. Right. You can just pretty much code, and in a while, everyone will be able to code to some degree. So that's very important. That's very important for you to know. Your agency is going to change into a technology firm, whether you want it to or not. So I want you to start processing that. Whether you want it to or not, within the next 2 years, your agency is going to become a tech firm. And what I mean by that is you're going to be placing humans and you're going to be placing AI. And in 5 years, 3 to 5 years, you'll be placing robots. Okay. So you'll be placing human, AI, and robots. Let that sink in. It's no longer just about humans. So your infrastructure, your thought process today has to evolve. Whatever you're thinking, so first of all, let's just put this out there. How we used to live is gone. We're never going back to that ever again in life. Never. That world is gone. So if you think I just need a little bit of time to get until we get back to, there is none of that. That is gone. Everything now moving forward is fresh, brand new, and it's the unknown. Nobody knows. Nobody. Everybody's predicting. And so that's super crazy scary, but also super crazy amazing at the same time. If you are an entrepreneur, which most people who watch this channel and who are following me and who are a part of my life are entrepreneurs, you're in a great space. You're probably going to go into billionaire, trillionaire status over the next 3 to 5 years. But the people that you're putting into jobs, they are not. And they are not going to be able to grasp the shift and the change that is going to happen at the rate that it's going to happen. And it's your job as the staffing agency to ensure that you are empathetic, that you are aware of what's going on. You almost have to shift yourself right now and starting to listen and research what is actually happening so that you can start preparing your mind. And I'm doing my best to get that to you all so you don't have to work so hard. Ooh, look at my nails. Don't look at my nails. I've been working. So you don't have to work so hard, but that has to happen, right? And I'm at the point now where, I mean, I'm in a lot of tech circles, but I can't even watch or listen to or read enough to catch up, right? I am at the point where I'm kind of transcribing things. And then at night, I'm actually printing. I've gone back old school at night, printing my stuff out. And then when I'm in the bed or in the potty, I'm going through like, okay, this is this. Okay, this is that. Okay, what do I want to do about that? How do I want to change that? And kind of go from there. You've got to put yourself in a position where you are doing that. Now, it's one thing I want to talk about. Y'all going to see me come out with the video in the next couple of days. I'm not sure if I'm going to record it or do it live yet because I'm still working on the content, but post-labor economics, a guy on YouTube did a video. He did a lot of research on what the world is going to look like post-labor, right? Economics. And when you hear me say the term post-labor, meaning post people having a job, what is it going to look like? Now, for everyone who here is a critical thinker, I'm sure in your mind, you're saying, well, if nobody has a job, how is there going to be e-commerce? How are people going to buy things, different things like that? And I have yet to figure that fully out outside of the universal basic income type of situation. But I do believe that we'll figure it out as humans, right? We always do. But let's talk about what work might potentially look like so that you can start getting your mind around that. And then I'll open up the floor. And then if anybody wants to comment or have questions about the work that they've done this week or whatever, then I will ensure that I keep that time out there. What I believe is going to happen is, and I'm looking at my notes here, we're really going to shift from wages to ownership and democratic participation. Now, it's going to be interesting because there are a few areas where I feel like, so that's it. So period. So, what that means is today we pay everybody hourly, and that's how our staffing agency bills and charges and pays, correct? Well, in the future, and when I say the future, I don't mean 10 years from now. I mean 24 months, 24, 36, 72 months. So 2 to 3 years by 2027, 2028, definitely by 2030. That's 5 years. We're already in May. So 4.5 years. People are not going to be working for money. They're going to be working for equity or ownership, right? And that's going to be a very different energy. working for ownership is going to be different. So we need to start rethinking employment and what value truly is. That's your job as a staffing agency right now. This change is coming whether we want it to or not. So as an entrepreneur and as a critical thinking entrepreneur, your thoughts should be, okay, I understand that I'm going to have to integrate technology into my staffing agency. I'm prepared for that. I understand that robots are definitely coming. I'm prepared for that. I understand now that wages are going to go away at some point. You may or may not be prepared for that, but that's going to happen. Right? But you've got to start thinking about rethinking employment and thinking about the value creation. You've got to start looking at every individual job. So every person that you place within your staffing agency, I think now is the time to start looking at what is it that they're doing exactly, what can be automated, and what value does that role bring as a human emotion, human mind, like, because the idea of us being human is also being distorted in a lot of ways. So you've got to be on top of that. What can the human do? And to start restructuring the jobs for the employer before they start doing it. Okay? Because companies are typically slow to adapt. So you've got to be on the forefront selling them or telling them or solutioning them, however you want to go about it. But the time is for you to take ownership now before your competitors figure it out, one, before your competitors do. And then two, you know, you've got it's time for you to show up as a different version of yourself as an entrepreneur. That's the only thing I can say. Really understanding what is about to take place. So technology is a given. You're either going to want to create agents that do the work, that do the everyday work that that person would be doing. That is the tasks, the repetitive tasks. And the example that I gave earlier, the person that's doing the 60%, automated task, that's going to be your AI software, agent, automation, however you want to call it. Okay. So I taught a class recently on how to take those roles and flip those roles and turn them into some sort of technology. And the technology that we created was SaaS platforms. However, we have another workshop that's coming up in the next month or so, and that one is going to be how to create AI agent automations. So you'll be able to learn how to do both. And then for the month of, I guess, June or July, I'll go into building learning language models so that you can have control and power to build and create in whatever way you want. You're going to see me go live more. I'm actually building technology, so I'm going to show y'all different things. Not the meat and potatoes live, but a lot of things live, because my concern is that people mentally are not going to be able to be prepared for the shift. My staffingpreneurs are going to be beyond prepared. As a matter of fact, we're going to be ahead of the curve. That's what we're doing now. We the workshop we did a couple of weeks ago, there's a few people in this class that was at the workshop. They've already started building their technology. They are texting me throughout the course of the week. Dee, I get it. I got my idea. I'm running with it. I can see it. I've got people that are doing things for nurses. I've got people who are doing things for cybersecurity. I've got people who are doing lots of different things. The only difference is with technology now, it's not about it's no longer going to be a tool per se. It's going to be an outcome, right? The technology has to be something that presents an outcome. And you can see this is going to change a lot in how you purchase technology. Back in the day, and a little bit right now, still currently, technology is being purchased by user, like user licenses, right? In the future, it won't be like that. It'll be based on interactions and outcomes and different things like that. And I'm here to tell you, I don't care if you're a nurse, I don't care if you're a doctor, I don't care if you're a lawyer, I don't care who you are. this whole world is about to change to an outcomes-based working environment. And if you're ignoring that, if you're running from that, if you're saying that's probably not going to happen, you are going to be one of the people who are going to be left behind. And people are going to be left behind. Hopefully not on my watch, but people are going to be left behind. So every week before we get into this call, I really want to start positioning your mindset around the future of hiring, the future of staffing, the future of work. It's been something that's been discussed for a very long time, but now it's here and it's real. And I'm going to be talking about it like crazy. So y'all just be prepared. Now, I said a lot. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, or anything that they want to talk about related to anything that I said? Anything. And I'm looking at my crew here. How do y'all feel about it? Is it nerve-wracking or are you fired up? Because there's only two things you can feel in this moment. You can either be nerve-wracked or fired up. So which one is it for you? Don't be shy. Ooh, y'all are real quiet today. Y'all like the desert. Y'all not ready for that. That's a lot to take in for sure. But you're made for it. That's what you're in this business for. And you're about to literally be a part of the change. And so that's where we are. I mean, the lines are open. If y'all don't ask questions, I'm going home. I mean, I'm already home, but I'll keep it moving. I got a lot of things on my schedule. I'm crazy busy. So I don't have time to just stick around and just nothing. So if y'all are not going to engage with me, I'm going to hang up and we can hook up next week. But if you all are going to engage, y'all have questions and you all want to utilize my brain, I'm here. So I'm going to open up the line one more time, leave it open for you. And then otherwise we can close out if that's where we are today. Any questions? I'm throwing them out there again. Any questions? How do y'all feel? What questions do you have about what I've stated? What questions do you have about the business? It's a lot of y'all on this call and nobody is saying nothing. How do you feel? What are you doing? Okay, finally, somebody says Shannon saying question mark. What does that mean? Like, you don't know? What is the question?
I'm just now coming back, so I didn't know if I was supposed to unmute or just wait for you to say I can unmute.
Yeah.
So coming back, trying to get things back together to push forward. So we should be looking at shifting everything as while we're learning everything.
Yes.
So more towards technology. And I already knew AI is about to take over a lot of stuff.
Everything.
But I do know that I did research a little bit, and it says that staffing is still going to be a business that'll do good with AI. It's just like you said, kind of how you run with it.
Yeah.
So
staffing is always going to be there, but it's going to look differently. It's not going to look the same. And you get to define that, though. You get to define what that looks like. And the cool thing is that if your model hits, then other people will duplicate that and it can become an industry standard.
Okay, so maybe taking like doing a little bit of study on AI here and there would be good.
Yeah. Definitely studying AI, but like I would tell you, study AI for sure. Show up to the new recording of the Academy. I thought I was going to do it a couple of weeks ago, but I'm still adding to it. This the PowerPoint to even show you all. So I would just say stick with that. Come with that. I would also say if I have a workshop, get in on the workshop so you can learn how to build the technology. You need to learn how to build the technology. And there are 3 types of technologies that you're building, but that doesn't identify all the things that you can do with it. Okay, so let me make that clear. And that's why I'm going to start coming out with more YouTube videos. So stay on my YouTube channel because you're going to see that I'm going to start laying things down in grave detail. Can't do it during the setup class, but in grave detail. But there are three main forms of AI or technology that you want to focus on from a staffing perspective. And I would say the core two would be either providing the company a technology that does something that your staff would have done, that you're placing, or pieces of it, if not all of it, in real life. And then the other thing is agents, right? So you've got technology like a SaaS platform. When I say a SaaS platform, think of Zoom, Loom, think of Slack. I'm just trying to think of different, those are all SaaS platforms where Active Campaign, where you pay a monthly fee, you get your own little piece of the pie, and you can do all of these things on that platform that you pay for. It's going to be the same thing, and you're going to build that. The only difference is the consumer is going to be using AI to complete a lot of those tasks. So it's going to look a little different, right? So your conversation, and I'm even telling all my staffingpreneurs, you got to go back to your website content now. Call your developer now and say, we need to sit down and have a conversation about what, where, and how my content needs to change. Everyone's content needs to be, you place humans and AI and preparing for the robots. That really should be your thought process. I place humans that do this, and I place AI that does this. Now, my niche market, I'm just speaking out loud. My niche market, again, same example, 60% of the role in this job in particular, the 60% of that role does this that needs to be automated on a consistent basis. I'm going to build a SaaS platform that covers all of that. Okay. And that way, everybody that we hire from this point forward can focus on the meat and potatoes, still showing your value as I'm sorry, I'm moving my desk up. I got tired of sitting down. Still showing your value as a staffing agency, right? Being able to put people into work in two different ways. You're still showing your value, but you're just doing it in a different type of way. That's very important. I believe you're going to make the most money in a SaaS platform with agents or different things up underneath powering certain things. But it's going to be your job to figure out with each role that you have, what can be automated and what cannot. That's what we did in the workshop last week. And we've had a couple of people sign up for the workshop after we did the workshop because they felt like, I probably need to get in on that workshop so that I understand. So I'll put the link in if you all are interested. I'm not trying to sell you, but if you're interested, it's there. But we went through in grave detail how to look at a job description and to be able to pull all the things out that are going to be automated and to keep the meat and potatoes, rewrite that job description with just the meat and potatoes and take the automation stuff and create it as either a SaaS platform or some type of agent, some type of AI technology. And that way you're selling the employee and you're selling the AI agent. And now if they don't want to hire the employee, they're going to hire the agent. If they don't want to hire the agent, they're going to hire the employee, or they're going to buy the software that allows them to not have to utilize the employee for only repetitive things, but to utilize the employee for the best version of what the employee brings to the table and allow the AI technology to do everything else on the back end. Does that make sense? Did that make sense? I hope so. That made sense, Shannon? She said, yeah. Davita said yes. And so it is a shift in thought process. I'm not going to tell you a story. It's a shift in thought process, but you can do this. You can absolutely do this. I'm doing it, and you can do this. And so the conversation that I'm having with you as an entrepreneur is going to be a totally different conversation that I have with someone who is not built to be an entrepreneur. And I do have a little guide that I'm working on. Back in the day, I'm going to tell you this. Back in the day, when we hired an employee in the staffing industry, we would give them this document, this kind of guide that lets them know, like, we're about to present an offer to you from a company. This is on the direct hire side. We do it on the contract side, but mainly on the direct hire side. And we're going to give you this guy. If you take a counter, I want to show you all the benefits of a counter offer and all the cons, the pros and the cons of a counter offer. And the document really shifts more towards the cons of a counter offer. If you take this counter, right, you back at your job, they're going to not trust you anymore. They're going to be looking to replace you. They just couldn't replace you immediately because you're a valuable asset. Now you just showed them that you're not even loyal to them. So now they're already looking at you differently, and trust and believe they're preparing on the back end to let you go. They're probably going to make your life a little bit more miserable in the process, even though in the beginning it's going to feel comfortable. And then we show statistics of how many people end up putting the counter offer in and then losing their jobs or quitting within a 3-month time period after they took the counter, right? We give them that so that we can already plant the seed in your mind. Hey, you don't want to take the counter. If you're going to leave, leave, okay? I have a guide that I'm working on for each and every one of you. And it's not just for my staffingpreneurs. It's because I had to explain this to my mom. I'm an Aquarius. We are very humanitarian. So things that affect probably the average person don't necessarily affect us, and things that don't affect the average person affects us. So anything that happens globally to the humans, to people in general, an Aquarius is going to feel that energy. And it's going to weigh on them. And so that's kind of how it is for me in this moment. And so I started creating this guide because when I read comments and I'm talking to people on the street and in classes, everybody's concerned about not the entrepreneur. We got it. We're going to be safe. We're going to be fine. Anybody who's a real entrepreneur is about to blow the fuck up. I said it. But the majority of the world are not entrepreneurs. The people that you're replacing 9 times out of 10 are not entrepreneurs. And so we also have a responsibility to ensure that we are preparing them the same way we did with the counter offer guide. We want to give them a guide to help them understand what's happening, one, what's going to happen, two, and how they can look at their job independently and see what can be done differently. And hopefully, if you're an agency, they're coming to you with that first, and because you're the one that's planting the seed and supporting them. I also feel like this is a great opportunity and a great time for you all to be putting your training together for the employees. So like once you have gone through the task, let's say you gave them the guide, you're now starting to think about, okay, Dee, as a staffing agency, how do I ensure that we still maintain people, pull the most value out, and take the things out that are not most important and give it to AI. That is the biggest skill set you can have right now, period. That is the biggest. Every job in the industry that you are placing right now, you should be trying to figure out what's automated and what's not. And then whatever is automated, create the automation and go to the employer and say, hey, listen, we place people and agents. Right now, you're paying this much for a person to do this, and this is how much productivity they can spit out, which only equates to this amount of money or profits or whatever, because that's what companies think about, right? But you could save so much more if you hired this AI employee and this human. Now you can increase the productivity. All of the tasks are done here. You can pay for the AI monthly per interaction. The human is still hourly as of now, but we are prepared to transition when the world transitions to more an outcomes-based environment. Right now, outcomes are really going to be more for the AI than it is going to be for humans, but you're going to see that come right shortly after. They're going to really back to back right shortly after. So you got to keep that in mind. All I can say to you is that the traditional means of staffing is going to change now, not later, now. I am typically on the forefront of things, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because I see things and I can get ahead of the curve. It's a bad thing because most people haven't put their minds together to be able to grasp the future. I see the future, so I can grasp it, I can play with it, but most people can't. Your job is to understand what's about to happen, to prepare for it, to prepare your people for it, both your candidates and your clients. Okay, so you got to prepare them both for it, but also literally setting up the infrastructure for what you want to happen. If you can take 30 days right now and build out an automation that will save the company money using AI, or to build a software platform that can save the company, that takes the workload off. So let me give you an example. And I don't want everybody to do this because I'm giving you this example, because whenever I give an example, everybody does it. When I gave the example about the theme, I used nurse burnout. Then everybody wanted to use nurse burnout as their theme. Don't do that. I'm just giving you an example for you to understand. So I'm going to use nurses because in the last 5 to 7 years, the majority of my clients have been in the healthcare space. Not all of them, but the majority have been nurses, doctors, CNAs, LPNs, LVNs. That is who is in my phone, in my business, in my world. If I'm sick, I got more help than I need. Trust. Okay. In real life. Okay. So nurses, I'm just using them as an example, okay? Only as an example, because I am not a nurse to be able to know what nurses truly do. I only know what nurses and doctors do based on my interaction and my conversations with them. But let's talk about nurses. What is the most administrative thing that a nurse does every day? Put it in the box. I already know the answer though. What is the most administrative nurse? Put it in the box. What do nurses do that's the most administrative thing every day? Come on with it. Where are my nurses? Come on, where are my nurses? Charting. Thank you. Charting, charting, charting. Say it out loud. Shauna, say it again. Charting. Okay, how you say it? It's charting. That's what nurses do all day, every day. So that is one core piece of automation that you know right off the break that an AI employee can do. An AI digital employee can chart, while the nurse, the human, can service the patient better and provide quality, a greater level of quality patient care. Agreed? All right. Okay. Now, let's take it even further, because I'm not a nurse, so I don't know everything, but I do know some things. Not just charting, but there are other areas that nurses complain about all the time. That they, oh girl, if I could just get rid of this, then I could do that. If I didn't have to do this, then I could focus more on that. That should be where your brain is. What are those things? Most of my nurses are still nurses. So you all are still working either shifts or going into the facility. Y'all need to be looking at the technology. What is it not doing? Y'all need to be looking at the positions. Y'all should be talking to the other nurses. You should be listening to the complaints. You should have a little complaint book. Because all the things, everything is automated. You should be asking the doctors, what could we do a little bit different here from an automation perspective, right? Like, you've got to look at every role that you are placing, and you've got to see, where does a digital employee fit and where does a robot fit? And I know I'm moving a little bit fast on the robots, but they're saying in the next 2 years, there's going to be a robot in every home. If there's going to be a robot in every home, then there are going to be robots working. How do I know that? If y'all watched the last video I put out, they now have robots working at the BMW factory putting cars together. Okay. So, and because they've been able to do that so successfully, the company who has the robots that are doing that has a waiting list of other companies, manufacturers, that are looking to do the same thing. Okay. So I just want to just give you perspective. The robots aren't coming. They're already here. Don't listen to the hype about they're not really ready. No, they are ready. They're beyond ready, actually. They're waiting for us to catch up. 1, 2, they're trying to manufacture enough for us to be able to have. 3, they're not even going to make it super expensive for you to have the robot. The robot initially is going to come out around $20,000, $30,000, and it's going to be about $3,000 to $5,000 to get that robot in your house, clean and doing all your things or what have you. It's going to come to healthcare. Don't get it twisted. It's already in manufacturing. Don't get it twisted. In China, they got them selling cars, the robots. Don't get it twisted. You right now, your job right now is to look at the roles that you're filling. You need to get a little chart, and then it says human tasks, AI tasks, robot tasks. And if you're Dee Williams, don't y'all judge me, but if you're Dee Williams, alien tasks, because everything that is happening up until now are things we've seen in movies. Call me what you want, say what you want about me, but everything that is happening up to now has all been in movies. It would not surprise me if in 2030 they start introducing the aliens, okay? So I'm not saying you got to build for aliens. I'm saying get your mind right, because I guarantee you it's coming. But in real life right now, you're going to be placing humans in AI and in robots in the next couple of years. So you want to start positioning your brand that way. Be the first that does it. Don't be the last. Don't follow the herd. Be the herd leader. Okay? Don't follow the herd. Be the herd leader. Shannon said a hamburger stand in Pasadena uses AI only now. He loves it. Shake my head. I mean, the reality is companies are going to start firing their employees to replace them with AI, but they can't fire everyone because AI can't do everything. AI is a tool, at least right now. It's true that in the future, they are creating what they call ASI. ASI, they believe will be here in 2027. I believe it'll be here a little bit earlier than that, give or take. And ASI is essentially AI being smarter than us. I don't understand it, but that is what's about to happen. And when that happens, I think that we're going to see the majority of the shift happen then. But at that point, then I think we'll be in a different energy. But for the next at least 24 months, as an entrepreneur, your job is to put the foundation together, make as much money as possible, stack that money, and stay aware of what's happening around you so that you can reinvest that money to continue to grow, right, with the changes of the industry. I said I'm not going to talk about the things that I'm concerned about. I don't think that's fair. But I am such a critical thinker that I have to talk about some things, I think that are very important. So your job is to learn as much as possible, prepare for the future, and be one of the first agencies to come out and say, hey, we place humans, AI, and robots. Can we sit down and have a conversation about how we can automate your business or how we can automate some of these roles? Or we figured out a system, a formula to automate some of the roles that you have or some of the things that you have. We want to sit down and talk to you. First of all, y'all going to get way more meetings that way than you are selling staffing alone. I can tell you that right now. I can tell you that factually right now because every company on the planet is trying to figure out that exact thing right now. How do I take an employee, take all the administrative stuff out, give it to AI, and utilize that employee at the best of their ability until I can get rid of that employee as a whole? That's literally what employers are pretty much thinking, in my opinion. I said it, they didn't. As far as to get rid of the piece, but inevitably that is going to happen the smarter that AI becomes. So we've got a little bit of time to profit. But for me, it's not just about the profit, although that is very important. Let me make this clear. The profit is very important because that's the only way we're going to stay on top of things. But the other piece of that is we are human. Humans can do things that AI cannot do. Okay. AI is programmed. So once you learn how to build a learning language model, it is programmed. So we get to program the AI into what we want it to be. Now, OpenAI, a whole bunch of program that one, but you can have your own model, right, that you program. My point is that AI can only do as of now what we program it to do. So being human ingenuity, human creativity is very important. Critical thinking is still valuable and important today, at least for the next 24 months. So your job is to figure out, okay, Dee, and I told you, we did this in the class. I've got a whole system on how to pull the administrative stuff out of the job, and then how to recreate the physical human job, create the AI's job description because the employers don't know how to do it. They're not fully aware. And then how to create a technology behind it. But maybe initially you start out by just learning that fact, like learning that, and then having meetings with employers and just saying, hey, we'll do a role assessment, role evaluation, learn what needs to be done, and then go build the technology for it. Right? So there are a lot of different ways you can go about this, okay? I right now have a platform that I will launch in the next week or two. I am still testing it because I like to test things before they're launched. But my AI is calling. Some of you have already got the phone call from the AI. Some of you have already gotten the email. Yesterday, my AI sent out a Happy Mother's Day email. We tested it last night around 11 o'clock. I sent and told him, I said, hey, listen, I'm just getting in after Mother's Day. I didn't send my email out. I want to send a short, quick email out to my list just saying, hey, I didn't want to forget you. Happy Mother's Day. He wrote that thing up so quick and sent it right out using ActiveCampaign without me having to do anything but check it. So those small things are great. Right. And they help me with my time. Dr. Castle said, I got it. So this is the future. This is not even the future. This is now. But I need you to start getting your mind situated in that way. And that is the most important thing you can do right now. Okay. So maybe I'll do a live class or a free class on role redistribution or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to think it through with so much stuff, but that should be the skill set that you learn. And that's one of the core things that I really want to put into the academy, into the new version, is really how do we position ourselves to support employers who don't truly understand how to keep their employee and add AI versus replace. And I think if we all kind of have that thought process and that mindset, we can maybe instill that into employers for an extended period of time. Whew, what do you think, Jacob? Jane, what do you think? Dr. Castle says she got it. I don't know. This is all kind of big heavies. It's so heavy, but it's also so exciting. Oh my gosh. I am beyond excited to be at the forefront of this and to see you all at the forefront of this. I am also scared shitless because we don't get a test run. You know, like I keep telling y'all, like I'm building things, but before I show it to you, I want to test it to make sure it works right. AI doesn't work that way, unfortunately. We are about to experience everything in real time and with no guardrails, essentially. And I think that's the part that's kind of scary. But the things that AI will be able to see and do that we cannot, I think is going to be transformative. In the healthcare space, they're saying that at some point we'll be able to diagnose ourselves, to be able to, it'll create medicine. I don't know. Education, I'm creating an education platform specifically to help my staffingpreneurs build the technology and the automations that they need, using AI, to help them build things a lot faster, because you're going to need speed today. I don't know if any of you all have been able to feel it, but do you feel like time is moving faster? Put a 1 in the box if you feel like time is moving faster. I know y'all can feel the difference in time. Or is it just me? Maybe it's just me. But okay. Yeah. Okay. So everybody, I didn't think it was just me. Everybody feels it. It feels like time is moving so quickly, right? So I was listening to this guy and he said that time isn't moving faster, but AI's time is moving faster, which makes it feel like time is moving faster. Very interesting concept. I don't care whether it's AI or not, it's moving too fast for me. The moment I'm done with work at night, for the most part, I go to sleep and wake up and the new day is already here. And I didn't even get to finish all the things I wanted to finish the day before. It's moving way too fast for me. So I'm glad I'm not the only person that kind of understands that. But with that being said, the things that we do, the level of pressure that I feel like I have is around time. right? Because it is moving so fast and we do have to learn so much in so little time. So I do want to continue to use AI to help speed things up so that I can stay ahead and so that my clients can stay ahead of things. And I hope that gives you some perspective on where you need to be when you're sitting on the toilet. You need to be on your phone, researching and learning. When you working out at the gym, instead of listening to your music, the way I do it, I got my headphones in, my phone with music, and then I got my iPad. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I got my iPad sitting in front of me. I do about an hour and a half on a stair stepper every day. And I'm on there learning and coding and listening and strategizing and doing all the things that I can to ensure that that I am staying ahead of things so much that I stopped posting online. I needed to step away from y'all so that I could really take in what's happening and start putting things together and show you, because I'm just not the person to tell you to do something without me actually doing it, trying it, failing, succeeding, and to be able to come back to you and say, this is how you did it. That's okay, but do it this way. This is right. This is wrong. I already made that mistake, that type of thing. That's who I am. I'm not so easy to put things out that I haven't tested or tried yet. Everything that I'm about to show you all, I've tested, tried, failed, succeeded, the whole nine. I've made money. So I'm not even telling you something that I haven't even made money off of. I'm making money, okay, off of the AI technology. And it's probably a lot bit easier than, me making money in other ways, believe it or not. So this is a good thing for entrepreneurs. And it can be a great thing for employees if we help them to transition appropriately. So maybe another service that you offer, we talked about training, reskilling. I gotta tell you all about that. Reskillify is about to change. I'm moving you all. I need to tell y'all that now. The Reskillify is all of y'all's videos and accounts are all being moved to a whole different platform. And Reskillify is going to be relaunched for employees to help them understand how to reskillify in a different type of way. So I just want to give you heads up that you all are going to get the announcement that your account is being moved over to the new platform. You'll get all of that. But with that being said, each and every one of you need to start thinking about courses. You want to start thinking about how you can support employers, because there are services that you can offer for employees that are transitioning out of work. And you can sell that to employers. So the old school model still works. It's still there. It's still alive. Again, technology is moving faster than the average company, the average person. So you have a little bit of time. When I say a little bit, Dr. Castle, a little bit, not a lot bit, okay? To be a little bit, like months, not years in time to be able to save yourself, your family, your legacy, okay? And to position yourself in a way that you can not just support you, your family, and your legacy, but you can support the collective as well. And for me, the collective is just as important as I am, because without the collective, there is no me. I don't make money. I don't thrive. I don't do anything without the collective. And I hope that your mindset is the same way, right? That's what I'm at least trying to instill into my staffingpreneurs. So we are in a world of tech. Everything is changing. It is scary. It's not going to stop. It's not going to slow down. It's going to keep going, and it's going to get faster. And your mind has to catch up. If you are not tech savvy, that is fine. Stay close to me. I am extremely patient, but stern, but I am patient, and I will help you to navigate these waters. It's more way easier than you think it is. It's just about grasping the idea and the system and then going off with it. Last week when we did one of the classes, it's one of the staffing, but a couple of them actually, they were building the technology. It's like, oh, I just let AI build it. I'm like, that is not how we work. You actually still have to have the idea. You still have to have the mind. You still have to have the architectural infrastructure in your mind as to what you want to bring to life. And then, of course, you can use AI to help you flush it out and to help you build it. But your mind is still the most valuable thing on the planet as of now. I personally believe people who have lots of ideas and can implement those ideas through technology are going to be the next set of trillionaires, not billionaires. Trillionaires, not billionaires, not millionaires, trillionaires. But if ain't nobody to offer, so anyway, so that is very, very true. Okay. Ideas, in my opinion, are going to be the new currency. And I think we just have to figure out how to convert those ideas into currency. And I think with AI, we can do that. And so I want you all to open your minds. So when I put out my little thing about unleash your ideas, it's really to help people become critical thinkers and to create ideas that are going to help them and the collective meaning humanity, continue to expand and evolve. So that's what I have today. Do y'all have questions for me? I didn't leave. I opened the floor for questions. Y'all were very quiet. Thanks for Shannon for coming, for breaking that ice for us. But do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? Is there anything that you want to ask me about the business? Is there anything you want to ask me about the future? Is it anything you want to ask me about staffing? I'm going to just open the lines a couple more minutes here. What do you need? How can I support you? Hey. It was a lot to take in today, I know. Well,
Hi.
okay.
Hi, Dee.
Hey.
Hi. So, it was definitely a lot to take in, but I just wanted to quickly ask, like, how much time do you believe that the average business person, would need to adjust to AI and this new future or new times?
Yeah, you've probably got about 6 months, if
Okay. Okay.
if um I would say roughly 6 months, right? To position to learn and to get your foundation set up. By the end of this year, it's already going to look different than it does today. Just putting
Got
that
it.
out there. By the end of 2025, they are predicting that it's already going to look different than it does today. And we're just in May, meaning the growth of the AI's intellect, the technology, and the way it's presented is going to absolutely transform this year. And you're going to see it mainly the end of this year, early next year. So you've got, I would say, 3 to 6 months to learn and to build.
Hmm.
And to start having the conversations, to learn, to build. I would encourage every last one of you today to go into AI and say, this is what Dee told me. This video's on YouTube. So, and I'll give you the replay. This is what Dee said. Upload the transcript into AI and say, what do I do? What do you think how do you feel like? Just start brainstorming. But before you brainstorm in that capacity, I would tell AI that you need a critical thinking version of itself. If you're in my class, I've already shown you how to build AI agents that help you do different things. And I'm talking about my AI class because that's specific to AI. So I have the AI class that I did. I went and I set everybody up with, I think we had 11 different bots, agents that you can use for different things. If you don't know how to create an agent, you can either come into class or go online and figure it out. But we created OpenAI, which is of ChatGPT agents that will help us with various things. So I typically create an agent or use one of my agents, but all of my agents, critical thinking is embedded in there pretty assertively. So if any of my students are using any of my agents, then it is pro critical thinking. And that's what I was going to say. Before you have the conversation with the AI, after you upload the transcript, I would literally say, I want to use you from a critical thinking perspective. I want you to ask me questions, and I want to figure out for my agency, this is our niche market. These are the roles, niche overview worksheet for everybody who knows what that is. How can you help me to figure out what my agency should look like in the near future, and kind of go from there, right? And let your mind start to go free from, in a way of generating ideas and just allowing you to to really just play with the AI to get an idea of how you want to position things. But you can always come to class. My job is to support each and every one of you with your thinking and to help you through this transition. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So when you see me put classes out, if the class is semi-expensive, that means I'm teaching something that nobody else is teaching online. Okay, that means I've tested it, I've figured it out, and you want that class. If I give it away for free, join it, right? Because you're going to learn something. But I would encourage you that if you are looking to go beyond what's on the internet and to really focus on things that are actually going to benefit you and your business, like go to, and it's not just me. So I don't want you to think it's just me. Sign up to anybody's classes, but people who typically have a paid class are the people who put the work in on the back end to create a system that have failed, figured it out, and now they're presenting you with this information. And so I would say invest in it so that you can be on the forefront. I can't tell y'all how many classes that I'm taking on building LLMs and agents and RAG and ITI, like all of these acronyms, and I'm learning literally piece by piece. And I'm putting it together. I've spent so much money on platforms and APIs and all types of stuff so that I can test things and see what works, what's most cost effective to build. Most of my staffingpreneurs are on a budget and they are working a full-time job in the process, or they're trying to hold on to their cash in some way. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm always looking for cost-effective ways to be able to still get the core outcome of what you're looking for, but just not breaking your pockets. So I break my pockets so that you don't have to, and to see what works. And I've been doing a lot of that. But I'm ready to come out of my dungeon. I thought I was a couple of months ago. I wasn't. I've gone back in again, hit in focus, nails not done. Okay. Like not going out, trying not to, I'm not doing anything I would normally do because I am so focused on ensuring that my legacy is intact and that my clients' legacies are intact. And that the world will still be a place that I want to live in. You know, I think that's very important. So that's all I got to really say today. I got y'all and kidnapped y'all 8 minutes over time. I will give you the replay. I'll put the replay in the academy because I've uploaded all the replays, so everything is up to date. If you missed, you want to go back and watch any classes from the next last couple of weeks. The Run It class is happening today at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then at I think 5 or 6 p.m. we have the AI coaching class. That is also happening today. I also have one-on-one appointments today. And I said a couple of months ago, I'm not doing any more one-on-ones where I'm flying out and different things like that. That has changed because, like I said, a couple of people are just like, I want you one-on-one and I want you to come help me build things out. And I can do it in a very short period of time. I'm pretty quick with things now. So I've got a couple of people that are going to have me on flights, which means y'all are going to see me back in hotels again over the next couple of months. But we're in a great space and we're doing amazing. It's going to be a very strong learning curve for a lot of you. For some of you, you've already read the books and watched the movies. So you already kind of know the direction that you want to go in. And for me, I'm just wishing us so much success in this endeavor. And I'm not talking about in the change in staffing. I'm talking about with the birth of a new species, because that's essentially what they've done. They birthed a new species. And we don't know what's going to come from this, but I'm excited to be here on the journey, and I'm excited to be on this journey with each and every one of you. I want you to stay positive, keep an eye out for all the things that I spoke about. Make sure you're in my email, make sure you're on my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube and LinkedIn more than anywhere. I'm not an IG girl. So just keep that in mind. I'm not a Facebook girl. I'm really a YouTube girl, and I'm a LinkedIn girl. And so that's where you'll find me in email and text and, whatever. So y'all have a great day. Listen, the expectation is that y'all work on your business this week. When we first started this call out, a couple of people said it was a lot of things that happened this week. I wasn't able to do, and I'm paraphrasing, I got to tell you something. Don't think I'm mean. This is going to sound mean, but I don't mean it to be mean. But If you had clients, you would not be able to do that at all. Your personal life would not be able to impact the work that you do for somebody else. So you're already creating bad habits for yourself and your business, and you've got to stop that now. If you're going to be a true entrepreneur and you're going to run a business, there is nothing that is going to keep you from working in your business every day. Now, do you need a day off? Sure. You got Saturday and Sunday. Do you need a day off during the week? You're the owner, maybe, but that means you have to position your schedule differently. But I don't care what is happening. Again, this is going to sound crazy. You could be losing a loved one. Okay? Them people who your clients, they're going to still expect you to show up or your business to show up in some way. Start creating healthy habits around your business now. If your day is a ruckus and things are crazy, at the end of that night, you need that laptop for at least 1 hour working on your business. I'm talking about you might be half asleep, but you better get it in, because you don't have the opportunity to not show up for your business because something else is going on. What if Mark Zuckerberg said something else is going on? I can't do Facebook today, or Zoom said, so I can't do such and such today. Like, that doesn't happen. And granted, they have teams, but they also didn't start off with teams. They had to make massive sacrifices in the beginning to get to the point to where they are now. And you too have to make those sacrifices, whether you want to or not. So I'm holding you responsible for holding yourself responsible for the success of your business, for the success of your legacy, for your success and the success of the collective, the community that you are supporting in your business. You get no excuses with Dee Williams. I love you though. I love you and I care about you and I'm here to support you, but there is no excuse. A day, yes. A week, unacceptable. 2 days, maybe. A week, beyond unacceptable. Every day, you have to work in your business when you're first getting it started. Every day, you have to work on your business when you're getting started. Every day. You don't get a chance. Yesterday was Mother's Day. I still had to work. Now, I didn't talk to any of my clients yesterday, and I took my laptop everywhere I went. Anybody want to take me out for Mother's Day? I had my laptop right next to me. And the moment I got a little extra time, Dee was chucking away on that laptop in between my workout classes, in between lunch and dinner and hanging out with my friends. Everybody already know Dee's going to have her MacBook everywhere she goes. When I go to the bar, they're like, where's your laptop? They already know I'm coming to sit at the bar with my laptop, because that's how important this business is to me. How important is it to you? It's important enough for you to invest your money, but not important enough for you to work in the business every day. Make that make sense. Okay. So this is not to one individual person, because almost all of y'all didn't do what you were supposed to do last week. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have an option. If you're going to be an entrepreneur and you're going to take this business seriously, do that. Don't fake with it. Don't cosplay. Do it. Because it's not easy being an entrepreneur. It's challenging. But that's why we make the most money. That's why we get the most freedom. That's why we get the most time. But in the beginning, those things don't exist. In the beginning, you have to lay the foundation, which means you've got to put in the work. And then once you put in the work and you've got your human employee, your AI employee, your robot, then you can sit back and go to Jamaica with me. We can go to, St. Croix or wherever you want to go and hang out with your friends and spend your money. But right now, it's no time for that. And you've got to make that a priority. So I'm not going to fuss at you, but I wanted to give you some stern words, because next week, my expectation is that no matter what has happened in your personal life, your work life, your business life, that you worked on your business 5 days at minimum throughout that week, at least for 1 to 2 hours a day. And that's bare minimum mediocrity type of business working. Okay. That's bare. But I would take that bare minimum versus you doing nothing for an entire week, or you allowing the, life to keep you from setting your legacy up the way you need it to. You're here because you're trying to create a legacy for yourself and others. So you cannot allow things in your life to keep you from that. Those are tests to define whether or not you're really serious, and you're failing. Many of you. but you don't have to stay in that mode. You can succeed. And that's just a really quick shift. No matter what, I am going to work in my business no matter what today. No matter if it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, nothing is going to stop me from working. Not the baby, not my husband, not my kids, not my mama, not the weather, not Dee Williams, nothing. Okay? I love y'all. I say all of it. I love y'all. I do love y'all. All right, I'll see y'all next week. I got to go ahead and prepare. You're welcome. I got to prepare and make sure I got everybody's brand stuff together. Thank you so much. I love y'all. I will see you next week. I'll put the replay in Reskillify so you all can go back and catch that replay. Have a fired up. Shauna said, thank you. I needed to push. Let's go. Y'all already know I be fired up.